this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your Hipsetter gym so that you can do some static resistance exercises that will teach you how to engage your lower abdomen in a way that will enable you to walk with better stability, balance, and gait mechanics. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to want you to do is to take your door anchor and to slide it under and behind the door. Now this gives us a stable resistance to do our exercises against with Hipsetter. Okay, let's get started. The first exercise we're going to do with Hipsetter is a Hipsetter plank. Now, if you've done a plank on the floor, you know you're getting on the floor like this, and you're trying to hold this position for as long as you can. And it's teaching you to engage your core to provide you with a stronger core and more stability. The thing that doing a plank on the floor doesn't do for you is it doesn't teach your core how to be strong in that way when you're standing, and with Hipsetter even more so when you're walking, when you're actually moving. So we're going to step away from the door, give ourselves some tension, and what we're going to do is engage against the green dot. This is unengaged, this is unengaged, this is engaged. So now that I have that position, I'm just going to hold it. So this is the same thing as far as your core and your lower abdominals is concerned as you're doing a plank. So just by standing in this way, and we can add more resistance just by stepping away from the door and making sure that we don't allow it to pull us, but we engage against the green dot. And so now I'm engaged in my lower abdominals. And with our plank, once we get in position and we're holding, I want you to just stand there and hold it for at least a minute if you can, 30 seconds if not. But if you can go to a minute, or if you can go even to 2 minutes, that's fine. If you can go beyond that, step out a little bit more, maintain your posture. You're giving yourself more resistance now, and hold that. So this is our Hipsetter plank. The next thing we're going to do is a Hipsetter bird dog. We're going to step away so that we get an amount of resistance that we're comfortable with. And then we're going to engage our core. Hold on to our chair because we are vertical and we may lose our balance at this point. Is with one arm, lift while we lift the opposite leg like this, but also while engaging against the green dot. So what's going to want to happen when you do this is this. You're going to want to let go here. And we don't want that to happen. We want this entire movement to happen, but we want here to stay here. Okay? So we're going to do bird dogs in that way. We're just going to lift up and down, up and down. Okay? And we're going to do that again on both legs. One of the most common exercises done is the hip hike. And this helps you understand exactly the power of Hipsetter. So when we're doing a hip hike, we want to stand on a platform and we want to let the hip of the swinging leg drop. This is up and this is down. Now the most common instruction given is to engage the muscles here and lift the hip, because this muscle actually does lift the hip. But there's a wonderful thing that you learn with Hipsetter, and that is the muscle that is doing the work is not necessarily the muscle that receives the initial signal. And in this case, the signal for this muscle to actually contract is coming from the lower abdomen. And so with Hipsetter, when we're doing a hip hike, we're not attempting to engage this muscle at all, but what we're doing is engaging against the green dot. And if I engage forward against the green dot, this hip will rise. Without me thinking or doing anything over here, if I simply engage against the resistance, engage against the green dot, this hip will rise. Just as if I manually engage that muscle over here, I'm getting that hip to rise, but All I have to do is engage for about a 1 inch distance, and that hip will rise anyway. So what Hipsetter is teaching you is the way that your body really should accomplish keeping your pelvis level. You shouldn't really have to focus on what this muscle is doing. As long as it's strong enough to lift the free hip, then what should be happening and what will happen when you're wearing Hipsetter is that you will be engaging, and I'll show you exactly. I'll take the band off. So with Hipsetter, what you're actually doing is engaging, my leg is hanging, and I'm engaging forward like this. And in doing that, you can't see it from the side, but when I engage against the green dot, what's actually happening is that this hip is rising. And this is going to be happening when you walk. And your walking will take on a completely different experience for you.